just not the same without the bouncing chest though, really. So it's 2017 and there is a new Baywatch movie out. It stars The Rock and Zac Efron and it's done as a comedy. Is it any good? Let's get into it. So what I firstly want to look at is how Baywatch is kind of coming out after successes of previous films that it's already liked. So as an example, 21 and 22 Jump Street were both really successful comedy films, especially considering that Channing Tatum at the time was a massive action star who turned around to comedy and showed actually he can do comedy really well. I feel that this is the same situation and they're trying to make it a similar success as 21 and 22 Jump Street with The Rock. Now, The Rock is brilliant, don't get me wrong, I love watching The Rock. He's just an all-round brilliant action and comedy star. And no one's doubting that the funniest lines in this film do come from The Rock. But we do have to address the elephant in the room, that I feel that as ambitious as Baywatch is, it is treading on ground that's already been broken. It's not essentially giving us anything too new. So with that in mind, does the comedy hit? Well, yes and no. It is a very self-aware film. It knows that it's referencing something from a few decades ago that was kind of cheesy at the time, but was also the #1 rated show when it was on, because, you know, boobs. But it's also taking that self-referencing and kind of turning it on its head. There are moments where it references how ridiculous the show originally was. Like, they were lifeguards on a beach that also managed to investigate and stop crimes. And Zac Efron's character, when they are looking at these crime scenes, is going, someone should just call the police. Why don't we get the police involved? Why don't we get drugs units involved? Why do we have to do it? We're here to make sure that the kids don't drown. And that's what's important. Drowning kids. Not drowning kids, but it's important that they don't drown. That's what you should be paying attention to. So there are those moments of self-awareness that make you think, you know, okay, I can see where the comedy is going in this film. Like, if they stay on this path, this could be quite an interesting comedic adventure. But the problem is that they don't. They veer off of this, and some of the comedy afterwards just kind of doesn't hit the mark. There are a few one-liners that come along and you kind of just sit there and take it and you don't really feel that reaction. And I do kind of feel that if it didn't have the references that it had to the original series, and if it didn't have that self-awareness of a film referencing something that it's taking bits out of, it wouldn't have been as funny overall, because those were the funniest bits of the film. Particularly some parts where, and spoiler alert a little bit for this, David Hasselhoff turns up and is The Rock's mentor. So there is that reference to the original, because obviously you can't have a Baywatch film and not have David Hasselhoff turn up. That would just be weird. And yes, they do reference the slow motion running as well. And they reference it kind of gratuitously, really, because, again, boobs. So these things are what you would expect to have in a Baywatch movie anyway, but it doesn't really take it much further than that. There are some kind of dodgy CGI bits, there's some dodgy action bits that kind of make you question why they were thrown in. There are some bits where they throw Zac Efron into some unnecessarily pointless situations purely for the sake of being able to kind of poke fun at him. And I kind of felt a little bit bad for him because it's all kind of directed at him, but he seems to take it in good humour, both on and off the screen. So he knows what's being done here, and he does it well, he pulls it off. So yeah, Zac Efron and The Rock together are a great comedy duo. They serve the film well, but everyone else in it kind of felt a little bit forgettable. It's not like this is going to massively launch anyone's career, I feel. And it's not like it was the most in-depth of plots either, really. Again, harking back to the original series when you think about it. But The Rock plays Mitch Buchanan, who is the leader of the Baywatch lifeguard team, and his team protect the bay and everyone on it, and some drugs deals start going on the beach, and they need to work out who it is. Except I basically could have called who it was right from the first 15 minutes, and everyone else who was involved. It was pretty obvious. They don't dumb down that fact. It's not really like a mystery at any point. It's only a mystery to them. So ultimately, is Baywatch a funny film? Yes, it is, but you're going to watch this film and enjoy it while you're watching it and not really feel the need to revisit it anymore. It's not the kind of comedy where you can go back and find something new to enjoy about it each time. It is the kind of film where if you're watching it as a comedy, you just get everything out of it that you need in one go. And in that sense, I'm giving it 2.5 stars out of 5 stars. I did find some bits of it funny. It was very self-aware, which I like in a comedy film, particularly ones that are being taken from an older TV series. And The Rock, because as much as I would try to, I just can't fault The Rock. I don't think anyone can. He's brilliant. And even, boobs, I don't think would put it up any further than that. So that's a little bit of a shame. So, have you seen Baywatch? If you have, comment below, let me know what you thought. If you haven't, and you're not that worried about it, let me know what other TV show from the 80s you would want to see revived in a full feature-length action cinematic adventure. Let's talk nerdy in the comments below. As always, if you've liked what you've seen here and you want to see more, hit that like button, don't forget to click subscribe, and view some more videos down here. If you also want to read my Letterboxd reviews, they're available on letterboxd.com. And until that point, I will see you next time. More slow motion running. Chicka chicka ching, chicka chicka cha. Chicka cha.